So, some interesting stuff happened to me this week, and I thought I should share this with you because it's really interesting. And being a channel that uploads content related to ethical hacking and stuff like that, this incident that happened to me, I'm actually kind of happy that it happened to me because I get to make a video like this. I got some good content to upload on my channel. So, anyways, let me brief what actually happened with me. So, basically, on I think on February 9th, I guess, yeah, on February 9th, I got an email. So this is the email. This is regarding a sponsorship. So basically, one way for YouTubers like me to earn is via sponsorships, wherein wherein a company can approach a YouTuber and ask the YouTuber to promote their particular product in the YouTuber's video, in the upcoming videos. So I did a lot of sponsorships earlier, and if you are a regular watcher of my channel, you already know that I did some sponsorships with Dashlane, which is a very big reputed company, and also Skillshare and all the companies. So yeah, I've had a really good experience working with companies, working with sponsorships, and especially VPN companies. I had a really good experience with them. So this mail right here, you could see that the subject says Fruity VPN YouTube sponsorship inquiry. So basically, I'll brief this email what it means. You can read it if you want, but let me brief this to you. It says that his name is Brandon and he's a representative at Fruity VPN, and they're basically offering me for a sponsorship. So this is a sponsorship proposal. And this is what they say. They said for a 15 to 20 second long advertisement of their product in my video, they are ready to pay, what is that? Yeah, $700 for 15 to 20 seconds long at the beginning of the video. And in addition to that, they're also ready to give me an affiliate link using which I can earn 15% commission if anyone buys their product using my link. So basically, this is a really good sponsorship proposal. So obviously there's nothing stopping me from negotiating with them and finding out more details, what's the type of advertisement they want and stuff like that. I said, thanks for reaching out, I'm interested in your sponsorship. So actually, while I got this email, I'm traveling, and I did not get to actually visit their website. They actually provided a website link, I guess. Yeah, there you go. It said fruityvpn.app. So I did not actually click on that link because I was traveling. I didn't have my laptop with me to do some proper research. So anyway, so I said that I'm interested, and the next day, when I got my laptop, I did visit their link. So this is the link. This is their website. Let me open this for you. It actually is still live, and look at this. Look at this. It's actually very, very, very convincing. It looks like a legit VPN website. Like, look at this. It looks legit, right? So yeah, it looked legit. So I didn't get suspicious at all. Let me be honest. I did not get suspicious, not even a tiny bit, right? And then they wanted to actually, I'll show you the email. So this is the email they sent me. They said, glad to hear that you're interested, and before we make the payment, we need to receive your promotional clip. Now this email kind of weirded me out because why are they trying to lure me? I don't know. It kind of sounded like they were trying to lure me. They're saying, before we make the payment, we need to receive your promotional clip. Did I ask about the payment? No, I did not. They mentioned it by themselves. So it kind of weirded me out, but I didn't get suspicious about this at all. But anyway, they are saying you can use this content, and they gave me a link to a Google Drive file. So basically what this file is, it's actually very common. This, whenever a sponsorship company approaches a YouTuber for a sponsorship proposal, they do provide a brand folder which contains, the brand images. Like for example, if this is a Fruity VPN, as they say here, you might want to use a logo like this. For example, logo of Fruity VPN if you're trying to advertise Fruity VPN. So you might want to use a HD quality logo of a product that you're trying to advertise. And all those assets, those HD quality images, those short video clips which you can use in the promotional clip are all provided in this brand folder, and it's done by most of the companies. It's provided. So this is actually quite usual. So they are providing me with a file, a Google Drive file. This is the first time I encountered a Google Drive file for a brand folder, but okay, I thought it's okay because maybe the company they're using Google Drive to share the file. I don't know. I didn't get suspicious still. So this is the file, and I opened it. I downloaded it. Right, so this is the file that I downloaded, and it's a zip file, as you can see. So immediately I tried to unzip it with 7-zip, and it actually gave me this error. It said, cannot open this file as zip archive, it is open as XZ archive. So I thought it's some issue with 7-zip, and I tried using WinZip to unzip it. Once again, it said an error. I mean, once again, it showed an error, not the same kind of error, but it did show an error. I was basically not able to unzip this file. It says the following file could not be opened or is not a valid file. I don't know what that means, but somehow I was not able to unzip the file, right? I did reply them saying that I was unable to unzip the file that they sent me, and they replied back. They said, hello, please try this one, and they gave another link, right? Another link. So I just downloaded the file from this happens to be a WeTransfer link, and I downloaded the file from this website, and I tried unzipping it once again with 7-zip, and it said the same error. It said the same error. So I had no idea what was going on. So I just messaged them again. I said still the same, and I sent them a screenshot of the error that I'm getting, and I didn't get a response. And in the first mail they mentioned that if you want for a quicker communication, basically they are asking me to contact them on Twitter. So I went on Twitter and I messaged them, and I said, hi, this is regarding the sponsorship, blah blah blah, and I said that I was unable to unzip the file that they sent me. And they said, thanks for reaching out. They said we have heard similar reports from other creators. And then they said, please try downloading the material from this link. They gave me a third link to download from. So at this point I was actually really frustrated, and for the first time I looked at the file more closely. So the first thing that I noticed, and which surprised me, is the file size. This file is literally of 1 KB size. I mean, are you kidding me? A brand folder, which will typically contain high quality, high definition brand logos and other assets about the brand, will obviously occupy more space than 1 KB. So this is literally impossible for this file size to be 1 KB. And then the next thing I noticed is the extension of the file. So obviously it's a zip file, but you could see from the file name that there is a .lnk at the end, which means when you unzip this file, it's going to be saved as fruityvpn.txt.lnk, which means it's basically an LNK file. And an LNK file is nothing but a shortcut file that you create on Windows. So if you're creating a shortcut file on Windows, it's nothing but it's stored with an LNK extension, which means this file is actually a shortcut file, which means it's linking to some other file which will open when you open this file. So my first thought that went in my head when I realized that this is a shortcut file is maybe the marketing team of this Fruity VPN who approached me for sponsorship are technically illiterate, and thus they are trying to share me a shortcut file instead of sharing me an original file. It can happen, right? Because I don't know, maybe they don't know much about computers. So I immediately messaged them the same on Twitter. I said that it's a link file and it's a shortcut file, and they must be sharing the original file and not the shortcut file. But they did not pay any heed to my message, and they kept asking me other weird stuff. And one thing that made me suspicious for the first time is this message. They're asking me if I'm opening this on Windows or Mac. I mean, why do they care what operating system I'm using to open this file? This obviously made me very suspicious. And then I received another message. Basically they're saying, if you're getting this error while using 7-zip, ignore the error, the unzipped archive should be somewhere. So they're basically suggesting that even though if this error is coming, the archive, the unzipped file basically is already stored on the computer. So this is the file, and you can see that this type, under the type it says file, which means it's basically not of any recognized type. I saw the file name once again, and you could see there is a 2 inside the bracket like this. So it's obviously not considering this file as a .lnk file because there is this 2 in the bracket right, like that. Now I know why this file is not of unrecognized type, but I still message them on Twitter. If they know about it, they message me back, and this time they told what I was expecting them to say. They were saying, can you please remove the 2 from both the LNK and the folder. So they're basically suggesting me to remove this 2 which is inside these brackets from the file name. So at this point I was sure that they were trying to hack me, basically, because why in the world will a sponsorship company send me a shortcut file? And first off, I thought that they were technically illiterate, but after I messaged them, they were asking me if I was using Windows or Mac, which is none of their business. And then they're asking me to remove that that brackets from the end, that stuff from the end. Anyways, I removed that brackets, that's unnecessary stuff from the end. And now we could see, as soon as I removed that, it is now recognized as a shortcut. That's great, right? So obviously I don't want to double click it because I don't want anything bad happening to my computer. So the first thing I did is right click and then go to the properties. So for any shortcut file, if you open the properties of a shortcut file, it will show you the target file, which means the original file to which this shortcut file is linked to. And in this case, you could see the original file. Well, what's this? Look at this. It seems like there is some PowerShell script inside this, but anyway, let me go to the start of the string, and you can see the target is C Windows System32 Windows PowerShell, and then PowerShell.exe. So it's basically going to open my PowerShell, right? Right. So this is definitely a virus. I knew at this point that this is definitely a virus. So in order to analyze this file more closely, I downloaded a file from the internet. So let me open that file. It's called link parser, I guess, lnk_parser_cmd followed by fruityvpn.txt.lnk. There you go. This is the complete info about this lnk file. This is a link file, and you could see the relative path. It is actually linked to PowerShell.exe. This is the path where PowerShell is typically stored on any Windows computer. So when you actually click on that shortcut file, it's first off, it's going to open the PowerShell. That's for sure. And now you can see in the argument section that it is actually passing some arguments to that PowerShell window. In other words, in simpler words, it's basically executing this code on the PowerShell window. So I didn't know much about PowerShell scripting, but after a little bit of Googling on the internet, I finally understood what this script actually is intending to do. So it's basically going to this link over here, which is, let me write that for you. It's https, so cut.ly/srd2eti. So what this script is basically doing is it's going to go to this link and it's going to download the file from this link. So let's actually go to this link from our browser manually. So I'll just paste this link right there. All right, it seems like the link is not working right now because the hacker obviously took down his server. Anyway, you could see that we were not able to connect to that thing because he basically took down his server. But this is the link. You can see this is the link that it is going to. It's going to download this file to my computer, and it's going to automatically start or open this file. And you can see this file is actually a .hta application. So it's basically a HTML application. So if you don't know what's meant by HTML application, it's basically HTML embedded with either JavaScript or VB script. Now obviously, to stay on the safer side, because I did expect that once I expose this guy, he will probably take down his server. So I did save the code which is inside the .hta file, and this is the code. You could see that this is basically a HTML application that contains VB script, right? And if you look at this VB script, you could see that this code is obfuscated. In other words, this code is very much less readable. You can't basically figure out what this code does as soon as you look at it, because you could see the variable names and the function names are really very lengthy random strings generated, right? And also there are many unnecessary lines of code included just to make it less readable. Because for example, let's say if you were the one who wrote this malware, you would obviously want your code to be less readable. You don't want anyone reading your code to figure out what your malware does, right? So you would basically obviously make your code less readable. So that's what this guy, whoever wrote this malware, did. But anyway, I spent some time in actually analyzing this code, and I actually kind of reformed this code to something like this. And I basically skipped some risky lines, like for example lines of code which will open a new process or download something from the internet and stuff like that. I skipped those lines because I obviously don't want this malware to affect my computer, which is the whole point of this malware actually. So I did skip some lines, and I just wanted to see what this VB script does, right? So at each point I printed out what this code is generating, and I reformed it to something like this. And let me actually run this thing for you guys. So the final value which this code is responsible to create is this one, the third one. And if you could look closely at that, it is starting with PowerShell.exe, which means that this is basically a PowerShell script, another PowerShell script. Look at the flow here. First, they are injecting a PowerShell script which downloaded a HTA file to our computer and opens that HTA file automatically. And this HTA file right here is generating another PowerShell script which is going to execute this stuff which I highlighted on my PowerShell, on my Windows PowerShell. This one, once again, this code, this PowerShell script once again is obfuscated. It's very hard to read. It's very hard to figure out what it does, but I did actually figure out what it does. It's actually simple, if you would say. This script is basically containing many lines. You could see each line is separated by semicolon. If you look closely at this PowerShell script right here, the last few lines are actually the lines which are responsible to download stuff from the internet and to execute that stuff on the computer. Except the last few lines, all the other lines are actually some basic calculations to actually generate some values which are required, right? So what I did is I copied all the lines except the last few lines, which are the risky lines, which will download data from the computer, basically malware, and execute it. So except those lines, I copied all the other lines. And then I opened my PowerShell to actually see the values of all these variables that I generated. So I basically copied all this code and I hit enter. So there you go, this code is executed. Now we have the values of all these variables, right? So the last few lines of code, this one is actually creating a new object with this name. So let's actually find out the name of the value of this variable right here. Since I have executed all the previous lines, now we have the corresponding values of each variable stored. So we could just access it by pasting the name of the variable and hitting enter. So you could see that the value stored in this variable is net.webclient. So this line of code right here is creating a new object of net.webclient, which is basically used to handle web stuff, if you know what I mean, like downloading stuff or uploading stuff, something like that. And then the next line, which is this, is you could see that there is a string that says download data. Download data is actually inbuilt or a predefined PowerShell function using which you could download stuff from the internet, and it's actually downloading from this variable zvn something like this. So let's actually see the value of this variable in the PowerShell. The name of this variable from where this script is downloading the data using the download data function of PowerShell happens to be this link right here. So this is basically 139.162. We have actually seen this address earlier. This is where the .htf file is downloaded. The next line of code, it says write all bytes, which is once again a default PowerShell function using which you can write bytes, basically copy from one file to another file, I think. So it's writing all the bytes from this variable value to this variable value. So let's actually check out the values of these two variables. So the first variable value is this thing, it is actually a path on our computer, which happens to be in users public hyn.exe. So this is the path. So it's basically writing all the bytes into this file, which happens to be in our users public folder, and it's writing all the bytes to this file from this file, which is the malware. And finally, this line of code is executed, which will basically open the downloaded malware automatically. So the downloaded malware will obviously run. Right, so that's what it is doing right there. It's basically downloading crypted.exe from the server, and it's automatically running. That is what this whole PowerShell script is basically doing. So yeah, this is what they're doing. They are trying to hack me in the name of sponsorship. At first I actually fell for it, but thank God I did realize what they were trying to do, and now I went back to Twitter. Meanwhile, I actually had conversation with them. Even though I knew that they were trying to hack me, I acted like I did not know what was going on. But finally, after I made sure that they were actually trying to hack me, I did message them, and this is what I did. I said, before anything, I want to ask how many creators did you do this to? And they said, what do you mean? And I said that I knew that they were trying to hack me. And look at that response. Look at that response. So this is not over yet. I was still curious to know what the final malware, which is downloaded to my computer, which is apparently named as crypted.exe. I wanted to know what this actually does if anyone actually runs it on their computer. So I just went to this website, app.any.run, which is basically a malware analysis website, and I actually executed this crypted.exe malware on their VM, and here are the results that this website gave me. You could see that this file crypto.exe is actually recognized as a virus, which is named as Ave-Marias. So it seems like this is actually a known virus, a recognized virus. So I then looked up this virus on the internet and I found out this information about it. So this is what it says. It says Ave-Maria malware is a remote access Trojan, which means it is basically a rat that will give the hacker remote access to my PC. So if I fell for the social engineering attack, then it means that the hacker will basically have remote access to my computer, because this program, this rat is going to run in my computer, which will give the hacker remote access to my computer, and thus we will be able to steal all my information. And I think the main goal of this whole social engineering attack is to steal my YouTube channel. So if this rat did get installed on my computer, then yeah, the hacker would have probably stolen my credentials for my YouTube channel. And another thing I noticed about this crypted.exe virus, which happens to be an Ave-Maria malware, is that you could see that it is actually uploading data, obviously, and it's actually uploading to this IP address. So if I click on this, it shows you that it is sending, or it is communicating with this server on this port. So it's basically stealing my data and uploading to this server on this port. So basically another listener is running on this destination. So it's sending my data to this destination. So yeah, I just want to warn all the YouTubers right there. So if you do have some YouTuber friends, or if you are a YouTuber yourself, please be aware of such scams, such sponsorship scams, and do share this video and spread a word about such scams. If you do have some YouTuber friends, share this video to them and let them know that there are such scams which try to lure them in the name of sponsorship, but in reality they are just hacking them and taking over the YouTube accounts. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope I did not sound boring, because this is really exciting. This is really interesting for me. I'm actually glad they contacted me, because I got to make this video. But anyways, yeah, so that's it. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you actually learned something new in this video, and yep, share this video to spread the word about such scams. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching. Cheers.